Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Today, November 11th. I'll do the market. Camila here. Um, you are seeing the monthly chart. On the monthly, we have been one-time framing higher for 3 months, 4 months, and we have entered the previous balance. Nothing new. This is the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, this week we stopped one-time framing higher. We had a pullback during this week. And we also see the range, the trading range that we saw on the monthly chart. As per the daily chart, we were one-time framing lower during the past 4 or 5 days, and yesterday we had an inside day with a range of 14.5 points, which is not a very big range. We had the ATR for the last 10 days is 20 points range. So yesterday we had a relatively small range for what we have been having lately. I'll come to this chart, I think, a little bit later, because I think that we are trading right now at 2083, 2084, and which will mean that we will be opening with a gap, and maybe this trading range which we had, it was on the 3rd and the 4th of this month, maybe come into play today. Let's go to the profile and then we'll see the scenarios and we'll come to this chart. As per the profile, well, as I mentioned, we had an inside day. Yesterday we had this poor high and weak high. It was weak as we traded. I'm showing now the overnight session. Yesterday was almost contained within the previous night overnight session. Um, the high was poor and the high was weak, and the low, I for me it was also weak because it was exactly the value area low from the previous day, and it was 2 or 3 ticks away from the overnight low. Value yesterday was overlapping, and volume was not a very impressive. It was 3.76 million. Yesterday we were very balancing within the bottom part of Monday's range, which was a long liquidation day. And at the end of the day, we broke the initial balance and looked for the overnight high, and we reached the overnight high, and then we ended in the upper part of the range for yesterday. Now, for the overnight, what we have is we have been trading higher, and it's been going higher slowly. The overnight volume POC has been increasing because I have been following it for some time, and it has been going higher as well. So if we open right now at the level where we are opening, it means that we will be having a gap opening. If we are opening with gap, it means that the first ruling reason for the day will be the gap rules, either we fill it fast, rapidly, or not. If we do not fill it, what I was mentioning before, this is a 2-day range we had for the November 3rd and 4th, which was from the 90 area, 91 area, the lowest part of the range, which I think it is important because it coincides also with the last month's high at 88.25. Not coincides exactly, but we have the 88.25 last month high, which is a very short distance, and we have the lower of this 2-day balance we had last week, which is at 92, at the 92 area. So this area going higher from the 88, 90, 92 area would mean that we would be having acceptance on the upper trading range from last week, and that would may mean that we are heading up again to look for the all-time high, or at least the high we made for last week, which was 2110. So for me, this is a key area, and this area also coincides with this area which I am showing here, which was in August, which we had three highs that formed a 4 and week high, and that has been respected in the market on the last week. So it may become important today if we find acceptance over there and we do not fill the gap. If we start trading and fill the gap and try to reach yesterday's high at 79, then as yesterday was an inside day, a balancing day, we may apply also balancing rules at the 79 area, as either we come accepted again into yesterday's range, or we just fill the gap and reject it. So my key references for today at the beginning of the day will be the 88, 90 area and the 79 area to see if we fill the gap. The overnight inventory is long, so we may try to fill the gap at the beginning of the day and maybe have a rejection.
Excuse me, Camila. What at 2100 quarter there? What is SWH?
Swing high
Oh, okay.
from here. I try to follow the swing highs and swing lows because I think that although they have been a long time ago, for example, this was in July,
Mhm.
a market has memory,
Mhm.
and sometimes it comes important because it pauses there, or there are some stops that will be triggered there. So for me, those swing highs and swing lows are important.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so this is what we have for today. We will be opening right here in this area at the 84 area. Right now, the overnight BPOC is at 85, which is positive for the market and may mean a trend positive if we continue higher. So resuming again, or making again, the conclusion would be 88 and 90, a key reference area for the beginning of the day, and the upper part, and 79 on the lower part of today's range. And if we go higher, we can try to reach the 2110 high from last week and maybe heading for the all-time high. If not, then we can go and reach yesterday's volume and point of control and time point of control, which was here at 75 for the balance we had yesterday, which was a very, very balancing day with a value exactly as the same as the previous day.
Okay, I have a question.
I might know what more is important if you think
I have a question.
anything
I have a
we can
question.
add up.
I have a question.
Yes,
The red line. Okay.
here?
What is the yes? What is that?
Yesterday's high, but as we have not started today, it's on Monday's high. As soon as I start today, it will
Okay. And then what's the green dots?
uh, R1 pivot points.
Okay. And the overnight VPOC there, does that move on its own, or do you have to place that?
No, I have a Globex chart in which I do move it, and once I move it on my Globex chart,
Okay.
it does come automatically into my daily chart.
Okay. So if you wouldn't mind just recapping the scenarios, gap rules first of all.
Yes, we have the overnight inventory is long. We may be balancing the overnight inventory, and at the beginning of the day, what would be the ruling reason would be the gap and the overnight inventory. if we open here at the 84, 85 area, it means we would be having 6 points of a gap, and which is trend positive because the intermediate and long term are up. And either we fill it fast and try to reach for the 79 high from yesterday. And if we reach the 79, we can reject it on a failed attempt and continue higher, which I think that the market is maybe looking for higher prices today. And if we go to higher prices and gap may fill or maybe not fill. If it is anyhow, it area 21, 2085, 2090, and 2110 area. If not, if the gap is filled, then we are heading to the 79 area, and then we'll be looking for the point of control, yesterday's point of control at the 70.75. So my scenario would be filling the gap and going lower to the 70, 75 area, or trying to fill the gap, or just heading from the beginning higher and look for the 85 last month's high, the 90.50, which was the previous 2-day balance area which I showed, and the 2-week high at 2110.
Okay. I'm not going to have market internals up, but today might be a good day for market internals because I think, if we have a gap and the market internals are very positive, and it's like it's only a few point gap, and they try to close it, and the market internals are still very positive. That's a helper to sort of know to buy that. Even if they get in the range of yesterday, to know to buy it if it comes out. I mean, you can do that anyway, but I think that's a real good confirmation. Just thinking of strategies.
Oh, yes. Oh, and what is Sergio saying? Today is Veterans Day and banks are closed. Maybe we will have a slow day.
Yeah, that's true. I'm probably going to be pretty slow today myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Does anyone want to share anything? It looks like Michael popped his pre-market in the Dropbox, or part of it anyway. So that's there.
Yeah, I wanted to. There were a couple of things I wanted to share.
You want to put your screen up, Michael?
Yes, probably easier that way.
Yeah. So Camila, if you wouldn't mind closing your screen, there you go. Thank you.
All right, so this is the daily chart. So kind of ever since we made the high and that 2-day balance and came below, we've been one time framing lower, and as Camilla mentioned yesterday, it was an inside day. But I just found it interesting. We kind of had this like trend channel lower, which crosses at 20.75.75 today. So we're going to gap above that. So I think it'd be interesting to the downside. That kind of that crosses at 75.75, and the overnight low is 75. And I'm going to share something else. So you have the overnight low at 75, and this afternoon, we one time framed higher the last 6 or 7 time frames, TPOs rather, until that, with the exception of that one break. And that pullback was 73.50, that little pullback low yesterday afternoon. So I think that with that trend channel coming in at 75.75, the overnight low at 75 even, and then that pullback low at 73.50, that should be an area of some support if we get a pullback, and then but by the same time, if we get back below that, it's probably not a great sign of strength for the market. The other thing I wanted to show it'll be easier to demonstrate if I take away the overnight. Also easier if I put it in twos. All right, so this is just the primaries only. So after we had, trended higher for quite some time, we had a couple of sideways value days and going up. That first day we settled below the trend line, started a downtrend, really. At 1, 2, 3, we had 4 consecutive days of lower value, and taking out the previous day's low. And yesterday was the first day where we had where we didn't have lower value. We had overlapping to slightly better, slightly higher. But the other thing I wanted to point out is, so we had the high. We got within 7 handles of the weekly and monthly high, or maybe 8 handles actually, which is not a lot when you're talking about monthly and weekly. And it just kind of ran out of gas there. And then you had this big B liquidation day, and then you kind of balance lower, bigger B liquidation day, B formation, and it started to occur to me yesterday late. I wish I would have been long thinking about it, but how long liquidation can strengthen markets. So I think that everybody kind of had it in their head up here that we were going for the high, and it just kind of stalled. So it got some people out here, and so it's kind of, I think, drifted lower, getting longs out. And then maybe Friday was, or this was Monday actually, was kind of the, all right, we're throwing in the towel now of the weaker longs. And then we have an inside day yesterday with a gap higher today. And if this gap holds, I think that tomorrow would then be a really important day as far as, is the short-term trend back to the upside? So we had trend down as from a short-term perspective, balance, and now we're going to open higher. But I think one higher day doesn't really, mean the short-term trend is officially turned to the upside. But I think that if we get higher value today and then again higher value tomorrow, that it would be an indication that the highs are back in play. And that was just kind of a long liquidation break that we got over the last several days.